Welcome back. I am Collins Trott, Child Development Faculty on the Wallace Community College Dothan campus. In this episode, we are going to be learning about culture, diversity, and values. When teachers emphasize the things that bind people together and help children see the similarities among all people, regardless of culture, children learn to celebrate diversity. Your attitudes towards others and your understanding of how children form attitudes play a necessary role in developing respect towards and valuing others. After reviewing all of the week's content, you should be able to explain the importance of culture and diversity in early childhood education, discuss the key concepts and themes that children can explore in the study of culture and diversity, and learn ways to begin to teach and introduce children to concepts of culture and diversity. So join me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about culture, diversity, and values. Culture is the way of life, the total human-made environment, the values and beliefs, the symbols, the interpretations, and the viewpoint of a given social group. Culture determines the way in which each person thinks, feels, and behaves. The culture of a group is evident through the values, nonverbal communication, language, interpersonal relationships, dress codes, parenting, gender roles, social customs, and humor of its people. From the moment of our birth, we learn the culture of the society into which we are born through enculturation and socialization. Sharing a culture makes it possible for us to live within the group, and it is the way the group adapts to the environment in which it lives. When children start preschool or elementary school, they come into contact with large numbers of children than they have before. Some of these children will be like them, and some will be different. It is important in these early years to develop an understanding of the child's own culture and to sow the seeds of cross-cultural understanding. Social studies programs should include experiences that provide for the study of culture and cultural diversity. The contributions approach is the most frequently used approach to teach culture, especially with young children. Its main characteristics is including ethnic heroes and holidays in the curriculum, while the mainstream curriculum remains unchanged. The concept of community is a common one for the social studies curriculum for young children. Expanding the topic to include diversity in their own and other communities would be a natural extension. The roles of community members can be included among with characteristics of their community. By going on field trips, conducting interviews, and reading local literature, they can learn about the town council, the mayor, the school board, and other institutions. The development of social skills is an important part of the hidden curriculum for young children. By studying this topic, children can learn that our friends can be from different backgrounds, skin colors, religions, gender, generations, and so on. Many children's books have been written on the theme of friendship, so literacy development is a natural extension. A school environment that celebrates both diversity and unity is built on a foundation of deep respect for all individuals and groups. Attitudes and values which direct and guide behaviors are the foundation for celebrating diversity. But as a teacher, you need more than just an understanding of your own attitudes and the attitudes of children. You must be also familiar with concepts key to learning to celebrate diversity. These include understanding interconnectedness and interdependency, knowledge of the similarities that unite people of diverse cultures, experiences, races and ethnicities, and nations, and skills in resolving interpersonal conflict that will later serve as the base for working together with others. Celebrating diversity has much more to do with your attitudes towards and knowledge of others than with preparing and eating foods common in other cultures. Hanging pictures of children from a variety of cultures on the wall, or celebrating the holidays or customs of others. These activities may be important in helping children value others, but they are the bare minimum. The teacher's feelings, knowledge, and attitudes towards those who differ from them are critical for how diversity is addressed in the classroom. These attitudes determine how you behave towards and treat children and their parents. Once you have examined your own attitudes toward others, you need to develop an understanding of how children learn about others. Children's awareness of others begins early. By 2 years of age, children have the ability to identify ethnic distinctions and perceive similarities and differences among persons based on physical characteristics, clothing, language, and political orientation. Several key concepts that contribute to children's ability to celebrate diversity in the preschool and primary classrooms are interconnectedness and interdependency, multiculturalism, and conflict resolution. First, interconnectedness and interdependency. As our world becomes increasingly diverse and international contacts become common, the human experience becomes a globalized phenomenon. Today, children's learning, growth, and development are continually influenced by their interactions with others. Next, multiculturalism. The human experience is diverse and multicultural. Although children are quick to recognize differences in people, it is more difficult for them to recognize that people everywhere have the same needs, feelings, and concerns. Lastly, conflict resolution. Early on, children can learn to handle conflicts with others without aggression or violence. These early experiences can be handled to understand how nations work together to settle differences without using force or violence. To value is the act of cherishing something, holding it dear, and also the act of passing judgment upon the nature and amount of its value. Values are a manifestation of a person's culture. Social studies educators are virtually unanimous in stressing the importance of addressing democratic values in the classroom. Because values and attitudes deal with the feelings and personal beliefs, many believe that children should learn them in their own homes or churches. Everything that occurs in a preschool or primary grade is bound up in and influenced by values and attitudes. Social studies should provide a setting for children to acquire knowledge of history and the social sciences and to be exposed to a broad variety of opinions, facilitating the formation, reassessment, and affirmation of their beliefs. Prerequisite to understanding the role in attitudes and values in the social studies is knowledge of 1. How attitudes and values are learned, 2. Current methods and strategies for teaching attitudes and values, and 3. Which attitudes and values should be taught in schools for young children. Research suggests that by age 7, children's attitudes and values, their confidence in themselves and others, or their ideas of self-worth, are fully formed. Research also suggests that attitudes and values are learned in much the same way that knowledge and skills are gained. At least 3 theoretical views of attitudes and value formation have been developed. We have values and attitudes are modeled, they are reinforced, and they are learned. Educators use a variety of theories to teach attitudes and values. Children do not learn by being indoctrinated into the values of a nation, but should be taught to clarify their own attitudes and values by reflecting on the consequences of their actions and searching for consistency between their feelings and actions. Because attitudes and values deal with the shoulds, what people should do, the standards they should live by, or the things that they should value, endorse, live up, or maintain, the question of which values to teach is controversial. Obviously, teachers will not teach children what religion they should believe in or what political party they should vote for. Those are family preferences. No teacher can tell a child or parent that the values that they hold are wrong. In schools for young children, the universal attitudes and values consistent with the rights and responsibilities of living in a democracy are those that are taught. By focusing on those values that are consistent with a democracy, are necessary for children to participate in a democratic society, and a love of learning, the social studies can meet the intent of the social studies. Ages 3 to 5 years old is the time to begin teaching anti-bias attitudes to children. At this stage, while quite egocentric, children's ability to see things from another viewpoint is increasing. It is the most effective to integrate anti-bias teaching into children's daily activities because children 3 to 5 years old understand their world through direct experiences. Using children's personal experiences, early childhood educators can instigate and facilitate discussions about others and how people are alike and different. While it is necessary to teach children to celebrate diversity and learn tolerance, it is not enough. Even though they are very young children in preschool and primary classrooms, begin the work of learning how to build a culture of peace. This work, like all learnings, begins with themselves and their here and now experiences. In the typical preschool and primary classroom, opportunities to teach peace abound because fighting and conflict are a way of life for young children. Now, let's review what we've learned. When teachers emphasize the things that bind people together and help children see the similarities among all people, regardless of culture, children learn to celebrate diversity. Your attitude towards others and your understanding of how children form attitudes play a necessary role in developing respect towards and valuing others. Tolerant attitudes and values are taught in the preschool primary classroom. Children gain attitudes and values through modeling, reinforcement, and learning. Each preschool and primary classroom serves as a small laboratory in which children live the values of acceptance and democracy. In an accepting and democratic classroom, teachers share control. Children make choices, freedom of speech, and thoughts are fostered. Children's rights are respected, and they are not overwhelmed by the power of others. A sense of community is built, and teachers serve as the model of respect for others. That wraps us up for this episode. You can learn more about this topic by reviewing the resources posted in your course. As always, if you have any questions, please contact me or your instructor. Thanks for joining me, Miss Trott, as we learned all about culture, diversity, and values. See you next time.